Fam.
Did somebody lie?
Somebody
Did
lied.
somebody flip-flop?
We've been finding out that Elizabeth Warren, of course, isn't the progressive that many people thought she was. And like months ago, Pasta and I were kind of, talking about it, and people were like, no, you guys are wrong. She's an ally, blah, blah, blah. But more recently, this whole thing has been unraveling. We've kind of found out that she does have ties to the insurance industry, that she wasn't really a teacher like she claimed to be, that she wasn't Native American for sure, and that she did exploit that, saying that she was a woman of color, etc. And a lot of these things just have more so, of course, her policy alone is worthy of criticism, but her integrity and her honesty are things that are also coming into question by many people. As someone that liked Elizabeth Warren a lot,
I used to play her videos
a few years ago,
well, I mean.
And was inspired by her in so many ways. It's disappointing to really take the veils off and see. So a lot of you might have heard about this, that Elizabeth lied about several things like discrimination, like I said, but she also lied about getting fired because she was pregnant, or kind of suggesting that that was the reason she got fired. And it's been a part of her stump speech many times, not just in the clip we're going to show, but it's been a part of it. And basically, Massachusetts Senator and Democratic candidate Elizabeth Warren had claimed that she lost a public school teaching job because she was visibly pregnant, quote, but that's actually not true, according to the Harvard law professor, according to herself.
Yeah.
According to Elizabeth Warren. So which way Warren, I don't know.
Which way Warren?
Which told a different story in 2007. So we're going to show the two videos. We're going to show the video in 2007 and then the subsequent rally and see how her story changes.
We got to start that hashtag, which way Warren.
I came to college thinking I came to college on a debate scholarship. I was 16 years old when I graduated from high school, and I got a full scholarship in debate that was room, board, tuition, books, and a little spending money. It was a fabulous scholarship at George Washington University if I would debate for them. It was sort of the equivalent of an athletic scholarship, only this was one that actually a girl could get. And even though there weren't very many girls in debate either, I was going to be a teacher, and I quickly switched over and decided what I wanted to do was work with brain-injured children. So I got my degree in speech pathology and audiology, which meant that I would be able to work with children who had head trauma and other kinds of brain injuries. And that's what I did.
For a while. I mean, you actually pursued that career.
I actually did. I was married at 19 and then graduated from college, actually, after I'd married. And my first year post graduation, I worked, it was in a public school system, but I worked with the children with disabilities. And I did that for a year. And then that summer, I actually didn't have the education courses, so I was on an emergency certificate, it was called. And I went back to graduate school and took a couple of courses in education and said, I don't think this is going to work out for me. And I was pregnant with my first baby. So I had a baby and stayed home for a couple of years. And I was really casting about, thinking, what am I going to do? And my husband's view of it was, stay home. We have children, we'll have more children, you'll love this. And I was very restless about it. And so I went back home to Oklahoma. By this point we were living in New Jersey because of his job. I went back home to Oklahoma for Christmas and saw a bunch of the boys that I'd been in high school debate with. And they'd all gone on to law school. And they said, you should go to law school. You'll love it. And I said, really think so? And they said, of all of us who should have gone to law school, you're the one who should have gone to law school.
Okay, so as you guys heard, she didn't have the courses required. So she was saying, oh, I don't know if this is going to work out. She went back home and then decided to become a lawyer. That's what she's saying in 2007. Did you want to read this before we go?
Oh, well, I was going to say, Manny says a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Manny. And we thank everybody who leaves a super chat. David Harris left $2 on the MCSE network and said, Hi, guys. David, get on over to the Convo Couch YouTube, will you? He's a Patreon. We love you, Dave, and everything you leave on there on the Patreon, we read and pay attention to because you leave books, and I've read 3 books this week because I've read 3 of your comments, but we love you. We love your advice. Michael Cruz, too. Manny says, would you be able to cover Ecuador tomorrow? I know it's probably quick, but a lot is happening. A state of emergency has been declared. Yes, you're right. Anti-austerity protests have broken out in Ecuador, and they are shutting down everything. I will take a look more further into it. I don't know the history of it, but I do know there are anti-austerity programs because the people are pretty much done with having to pay the load of everything going on, and those oligarchs, the rich, get to pay no taxes whatsoever. And that was our other super chat. But go ahead with your girl. There's David Harris. Go on with your girl. We have 62 people on the MCSC network, 120 on the Convo Couch YouTube. That's awesome for this time. We love you. Back to Elizabeth.
Okay, so let's watch what she said in one of her recent stump speeches at a rally.
So my first teaching position was as a special needs teacher. There we go. I loved that job. But by the end of the first school year, I was quite visibly pregnant, and the principal didn't invite me back for the next school year. So I found myself at home with a baby, and yep, those were the days. And I got this idea that I could go to law school.
Okay, so her story switches. The principal didn't invite me back. So which is it? Did the principal not invite her back? Did she? She said that she didn't have the credentials, so maybe she didn't have the credentials, and then she's made it out to seem like she was being treated unfairly. Like this was something that was used because she was pregnant. And this isn't the only time she said this. We can find other videos where she has used the same thing and said, oh, I was pregnant. Like they didn't invite me back, that they said this and that. And it's a problem because this isn't the first time she's doing this. And it's not a big deal to me. This isn't like the biggest deal to me. It's been a big deal to a lot of people. It's been all over Twitter. It's been all over. To me,
it shows a pattern of lying.
But
all
it
the
does
time.
show a pattern.
It's
not
like
even,
all the time.
Not even of lying, but just like embellishing things or omitting things. And of course, to her credit, human beings' memory is very, as you get older, your memory is very. It's hard to remember what actually happened. Things get foggy and cloudy. So to her credit, it could be one of these instances. But again, this incident doesn't stand alone. It's been happening in an ongoing situation for a while.
Yeah.
So that is why people are like getting really irritated with her using these tropes as, oh, I'm a woman. Like she
always plays the victim.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thrown out because I was pregnant. I'm a Native American. I'm suppressed. She always plays the victim, and she looks to whistle signal or signal to that base of the party. Those identity politic people who listen to that stuff, who take that stuff to heart and take it strongly as opposed to policy, direction. What are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? She's been playing the same game over and over again. I'm a victim. I know you're a victim. I will fight for you. It's the mentality that she has. She's still doing it again.
And the thing
By saying that she was fired for being pregnant when she just simply said, I went home to my family.
And the thing about Elizabeth Warren is she's not Hillary. Like, I'll say this because she's not she's not like confident like that. And she's kind of almost like dorky in a way. Like, she doesn't have that same like veracity that like a Kamala has or a Hillary Clinton has. So it's different to criticize her because it almost seems like this is like she's not even aware of this. I don't know what it is, but like it's just not consistent. And one of the things that people admire about Bernie Sanders is his consistency. Over 40 years, you can find a video of him criticizing the crime bill. You can find a video of him now talking about that. You can find a video of him going back to environmental justice, talking to kids in the 1980s before I was born and talking the same talking points that he's talking about now, warning people of the same things. So to me, it's just, why would you go with the same typical politician that likes to embellish things over the person that has the consistency? Yeah. It's just not a good argument for her.
It's kind of funny because reminded me too of the way she was. Like I remember when somebody went at her in Congress and she was like just kind of doe-eyed. And then just recently when somebody asked her, hey, would you let your child be on the board of an energy company?
Right.
And she was just like doe-eyed. So you're right. She's very different than, Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton, who can look at you stern with that straight face and lie to you without even batting an eye and say, nope, you're wrong.
Yeah.
The sky's yellow. It's not blue.
That's why, as much as I dislike Elizabeth Warren, I don't put her in the same category because I don't think she's a sociopath. I like some of these other people. I don't think she's there. But I do think that in a way makes her more dangerous because it makes her more appealing. And the middle ground part, right? Like we can't have this incrementalism. We can't have this middle ground. And also another reason, which is very important, she's so susceptible to Donald Trump. She's literally took his
She'll
bait.
get destroyed.
She's going to get destroyed over things like this by the Republicans like that.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be
The Fox
good.
News thing was really damaging. Like, they can use it, it's like, she doesn't even want to talk to you people. If you don't, if Elizabeth Warren, Pocahontas, I call her, cannot, if you don't agree with her, she doesn't even want to talk to you. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. Like, he'll do his typical Donald Trump kind of thing, fam.
Fam.
And you're right. She isn't like that. But once again, the fact that she was out there and about with Hillary Clinton, to me, was just the ultimate, like, oh my Lord, like, lady, what are you doing? She's much more dangerous, A. Mars says.
One more thing before we move on to your subject, fam, I want to point out, and I tweeted about this today. Think about this. If Elizabeth Warren hadn't run, it would be mainly Joe Biden versus Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders would be in the lead right now, pretty much. I mean, Buttigieg or Kamala weren't going to get anywhere near there, right? And Elizabeth Warren, to me, I genuinely feel this was put out there to be a spoiler, so she would get some of these progressive votes, and then they could be accepting of at least we have a leftist here. And then, of course, when it doesn't work out with her, they're going to blame the leftists. They're going to blame like the progressive policies and say, look, this doesn't work out, or she would lose to Donald Trump either way. But the fact that she ran, if she was a real progressive, knowing her recognition, her name, everything, she would have been like, look, I'm going to back Bernie Sanders because I should have done that in 2016 and blah, blah, blah. Does she have a right to run? Absolutely. But if she were a progressive, maybe she's not giving anything different. That she's trying to copy Bernie, but just not do it. At least Tulsi Gabbard is running on her
Completely
foreign
different.
policy.
Yeah.
She's a little bit different. Like she's not.
She offers a big
copying
difference. Yeah.
Bernie, and that's a reason why she's getting criticized a lot. And kind of going into what you're going to talk about too, is one of the reasons she's being criticized is when she strays from Bernie, which I think, well, what do you want? Do you want her? Why would people vote for her if she's exactly like Bernie?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think there's got to be some differences. The majority of her differences are good based on foreign policy. For foreign policy people, that's why they like her. So
And we understood, when it comes to, Elizabeth Warren, how she is on foreign policy, which she's just down.